Good morning. The Chief Executive will first speak before answering questions. When you ask questions, please limit your answers to no more than 2. Chief Executive, good morning. Tomorrow, I will set off to go to Beijing for a duty visit. It will be from the 21st to the 24th. I will depart tomorrow afternoon, and I believe that I will return to Hong Kong on the afternoon of the 24th. I will report the Hong Kong situation to the state leader. I will do it in detail. I will cover the current economic situation, the political landscape, actual situation of our control on the epidemic. They will all be covered in my report. Of course, it is for the central authorities to work out the arrangements, and I will announce the details when I have them. In relation to our social distancing measures, this afternoon, the Health Bureau will make some announcements. Some of the social distancing measures will be relaxed. Our consideration is that we have to do it in an orderly manner. We have to make sure that the risk is controllable when we relax measures. We understand that the healthcare system is under pressure. The number of admissions of COVID patients has risen to 4,000. When we launched 0+3, the number was about 1,000 or so. The hospital authority has put in place a number of improvement measures, but colleagues in the hospital authority are under stress. As you all know, that winter is upon us. With the winter influenza, a lot of people are affected. So I do have to keep in mind the situation of our public healthcare system, and I will keep in view the risk when we decide on the relaxations. These relaxations include the capacity limit of banquets. You'll have to wait for the afternoon to get the details. With a gradual relaxations of the control measures, we see vitality returning to our community. On Sunday, there was the bicycle game. There was a cyclothon. We see that people are getting more and more active, and they are happier. I will report the actual situation of Hong Kong to the state leader, and I will also talk to him about areas of concern to him. Now the floor is open. Please use the microphone we give you. Limit the number of questions to no more than 2. Identify your media outlet first. The gentleman in the front row. I'm from Phoenix TV. First of all, in your duty visit to Beijing, will you ask central authorities for quarantine-free travel between the border? Have you made any preparations? And I would also like to ask about the interpretation of the NPCSC. It's reported that the central authorities may consider that no interpretation is required. And there are also sayings that the scope of the interpretation may go beyond your request. What's your view? Members of the public are concerned about reopening of the border. Of course, I will relate public sentiment to the central authority, to the state leader. I'm sure that central authorities are fully aware of the situation, and they know about this, all the requirements that are needed for border reopening. On different occasions, I have spoken to state leaders, including the government of Guangdong Province and Shenzhen Municipality. If what we put in place makes a fight against the epidemic more effective. And if it is required of us to make adjustments, of course, we will be more than happy to do so. I'm certain that the state leader is alive to all the different voices, and I will report the Hong Kong actual situation to him. Regarding anti-epidemic measures, we have made relaxations to about 90% of them. We've only kept a small amount of them. We do that because we want to make sure that the integrity of our healthcare system is protected and that the old and the young are under our protection, because for these groups the vaccination rate is low. I have already made the request for interpretation, and I noticed that the 3 different organs from the central authorities have expressed their support, and the Hong Kong Macau office has also issued a press statement. Of course, everything has to be done in accordance with the laws, rules, and regulations of the mainland. I will await for a decision to be made by the central authorities so that we will be clear about the result.
Next question on the left at the front, the lady over there.
Chief Executive, a few questions from the South China Morning Post. First, what's your expectation of your duty visit to Beijing, and how would you bargain for border reopening with mainland China, and what would be the main directions? Second, what follow-up actions would the government take against Google on the national anthem route? Thank you very much.
I have been in good dialogue with the responsible departments in Beijing who take care of Hong Kong affairs, which is the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Department. Therefore, the Hong Kong situation has well been reported to the central government throughout the period. What I would like to report to the leaders when I will be in Beijing is to reflect the overall situation of Hong Kong in all regards. Then, of course, I will be touching on the situation in Hong Kong in relation to how the pandemic situation is. I will also be explaining what I have done in the period on the one hand, controlling COVID, and at the same time, maintaining the economy to run so that it will be allowed to be strengthened. I have been reflecting all these concerns, so I am very sure that the Central People's Government already has a good understanding of the present situation of Hong Kong. But to have an opportunity to report face-to-face and then make direct response to questions that may be raised by the leaders, that will help explain the Hong Kong situation more thoroughly. And my experience with during my communication with leaders is they always listen earnestly and consider my ideas seriously. So I think this is what will happen during my reporting to the leaders of the situation for Hong Kong. Of course, I will be reflecting the concern of Hong Kong people whose voices are already heard, I think, by the Central People's Government. And it is something that I think we are all working hard to see how it can be done, because we all know very well that while we want to do this, we have to consider how we do it in an orderly fashion, maintaining a good control of the risks and the potential problems that may arise when new arrangements are introduced. But there is a very strong common commitment to ensure that things progress in good speed and at the same time with risks and issues under control. As regards Google, I think we have repeatedly made our statements very clear. The incorrect information of the Hong Kong national anthem, which is the national anthem of the PRC, is a serious matter. It is not just a piece of information that is wrongly reflected, such as business information or such as information about day-to-day traffic matters, price matters. It is an important matter because the national anthem represents the country, represents the people, and it also represents the dignity of the people and the country. So it has to be taken seriously by whoever that provides that information to ensure its accuracy. We will, of course, be contacting Google to see how we can rectify the situation. We all know very well that Google has the means to do it. It's a question of whether Google chooses to do it. If he chooses not to do it, then I think he has a lot to explain. His company policy has stated that they will remove content for legal reasons. It is a very clear fact that playing our Hong Kong national anthem, which is PRC's national anthem, with a song which is not, is an offense in Hong Kong because it constitutes insult, which contradicts and contravenes our law on national anthem. So it is an offense for somebody to play a song which is not the Hong Kong national anthem, which is also the national anthem of the PRC, because it constitutes insult. So that content constitutes an offense, so it conforms to the Google policy of removing content for a legal reason. The second thing that I have noticed, Google policy also says that it will not allow content that misrepresent or mislead. Obviously, it misrepresents our Hong Kong national anthem, and it misleads people to think that the song that has been searched as purportedly the Hong Kong national anthem is not the actual Hong Kong national anthem. So it is presenting content that misrepresent and mislead. I think that Google is a responsible company, and we will be in touch with Google. We hope that we can work together a solution to ensure the right content is provided to the public, that they will conform with the company policy to remove content for legal reasons and to remove content that misrepresents and misleads. And I think that an organization as big as Google will take these things seriously.
時間關係，我哋今日
To time constraint, we will take the last question on the left, the gentleman at the back. I'm from cable TV. the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense uploaded a video thanking the support from various places. Then there's a black regional emblem associated with the riot. For crowdfunding, a donor who is not aware of the aim of the crowdfunding sources will be held criminally liable. Is there a need for control over these activities?
In relation to a wrong regional flag, it is a matter of foreign affairs. We have spoken to the Commissioner for Foreign Affairs, and this will be followed up by them. So if you have any inquiries, please go to ask them. In relation to the public consultation on crowdfunding, your questions are those that we have asked, are those that we have also asked, seeking an answer. In relation to funding activities, there are a lot of loopholes and gaps in our laws. So we would like to put in place an effective regulation measures. Thank you. It's the end of the press conference.